Hello, Jeppe.
Hello. Hello,
Hi.
Basil.
Hello. The new edition of the Nordic Media Program NMP starts on the 4th October with a workshop in Odense under the overall topic of where is the customer going. My name is Bo-Magnus Salenius, one of the program leaders of NMP, and with me here is Jeppe Bjerrum, head of marketing and communications of JFM. Hello again, Jeppe.
Hello. Nice to see you.
We're here to give you a sneak peek of the first and very exciting event, which will surely be of interest to you when you hear more about it. In the new program, and for the first time, the first workshop will benefit from a sharp and very live case supplied by JFM. And not just supplied, actually it's live in a very, very live sense, so that we will actually work on, jump into the actual happening of the project. You will hear more about it in a couple of seconds, and use that both for as a starting point for our learning, but also as a way of providing something back for getting the chance to look at this very, very fascinating project. Starting NMP with focusing on the context of the customer, the readers, viewers, and listeners of what we do and produce in the news and media houses is not a choice, but a necessity, of course. The customer is at the core of the purpose, which drives engagement, innovation, performance, both for teams and individuals. And thereby, it's safe to say that starting with the question of customer, what the customer is and where the customer is going, is a very natural one to start the program of leadership with. For NMP, the very reason of starting with customer focus is not just this, but the fact also that the context, the situations of the customers are very much alive and they are changing. Rather than freezing customers as the traditional view is, the freezing customers as personas, as categories, as groups, target groups, to use a very, very, very well-traveled expression, right? Rather than focus them in this, is to what happens if we take the view of customers actually being alive and changing, and where, hence the question, where is the customer going? Jeppe, to friends in the Nordic audience who previously have not come across JFM, how would you summarize your company in a few sentences, so that, well, can you teach us to know JFM in just a few words?
Yeah, I'll try. We're a Danish local news media outlet, a merger of three old companies, and then we've bought a few newspapers up afterwards, or after the merger in 2015. Today we're the second largest privately held news corporation in Denmark. We do daily newspapers, as you know them, both in print and e-papers and news sites. Then we have free weeklies. We have a few radio stations. We have advertising agency, and we have print facilities, and a lot of other businesses surrounding the news business or the news industry. We also have our own marketplace and some deal sites. But the core of the business is the journalistic impact on the local areas, and that's our mission, is to fight for democracy and coherence in the local society.
Great and fantastic. I'm almost embarrassed to ask you for a statistic that is so old school that I can't think why I'm actually asking it. But what about the head count? How many people are you in the group, or however you want to slice it?
We're around 1,700 employees in the group, when you're not counting the delivery part of the company.
Right. One more thing. If you would sell us the idea of JFM and maybe from just because you are also the head of marketing, what do you consider, so that the one thing or the two things or whatever, how many quick ones you want to cite, that makes you stand out? Because I'm quite sure, and I know, since you are an alumni of NMP as well, I know that you are scanning the whole of the Nordics, and obviously, like everybody, any news leader today. How would you, what stands out in JFM when it comes to the way you're working?
Well, first of all, the mission I spoke to earlier about securing local democracy and coherence, and also the fact that I know it's not unique in the news industry, but in later years it is not that many that are held by funds, but we are still, so we don't need to create cash for the owners. They want to invest every penny that we make. They invest them in developing news outlets and developing the industry and our company. So all we do is to provide better news to the public, and it can sound a bit hot air, but it is actually something that the employees care about, and I think that's a very strong foundation for us. And then if we go a bit away from the softer things, we're very good in data. We have a large data department, and using data very thoroughly, and also trying to figure out that data is a lot of things, and in itself it's just data. So how do you utilize that? How do you build products around the data infrastructures that you have? And we've come quite a way in that area, and I think that's one of our key areas that we can differentiate in the market.
Very nice summary there, Jeppe, and I think, and we of course both know that you are by far not alone with the way you are funded in, and there's a lot of that in the Nordics. Having said that, that's also something that of course is a very interesting discussion point to many. Let's not go there, but the mix of everything sounds fantastic, and we're already now looking forward for this for NMP. But over to the project, and this is why we started talking with you now for the first session in NMP this year and this time. So you are actually launching, or are going to launch just in this autumn, or you have piloted a new project which you called the world's largest reader meeting, and by way of gaining customer insight as well. There are many other things to the project. But how would you introduce that? What is that project about? And tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, thanks for asking. But it is, as you said, the headline is the world's largest reader meeting, and it actually came about when a few colleagues of mine that have also been NMP alumni and me, we were talking about some of the exercises that we've done at NMP and how it could be fun to take that back home and actually put it out into the real world and have it impact our business. And one of the things we talked about in the first workshop was getting out there and meeting people. And in that meeting, you can read a lot of statistics and you can do a lot of research, but often you get a report back, and then you present them to the journalist or any other part of the business and say, this is how the world looks like. But in that, getting it on a paper and done by somebody else, you don't really get into the depth of what is people actually thinking out there. And having, I think, 350 journalists, we thought that we had a workforce that was very good at interviewing people. Normally, they interview them to get a story, so they don't have the framework of getting insights in a research matter, but they're used to interviewing people. And then we talked about, okay, if we could get every journalist to do just one interview with a potential customer about their news habits, how they've changed, where they get their news today, and try to detach it from our own products, but just talk about news consumption in general and getting inspired in the day-to-day life, we would all of a sudden get 350 interviews, and that's quite a lot of respondents that you can actually do some work with afterwards and see, okay, then how should we change our products going forward in order to serve those needs that we experience with the customers. But also having the journalist meeting, say, real people or real customers on the other end, and see what is it actually that triggers them. What is it that they like or dislike about the way we produce news today. So that in short is the project we're doing, and we did as you said, a pilot here in June with the first 2 local news desks, and then from late August, early September, we'll kick off with the rest of the editorial organization, and we're having very big hopes for the insights. It's a big job structuring the data and making the questionnaire and controlling all of those things, but I really hope that we'll get some good insights based on it.
And NMP, the new cohort or group or delegates of NMP this year, they will jump right in to this when the workshop starts in early October, the first days of October. You will have a month of working behind you, and they will be quite sure to get some fresh insights and maybe also frustrations from what is going on. But I think what is quite fascinating is, of course, that the very fact that you seem to think that this project, it's not just to collect insight, right? I think you mentioned to me that this is also it's also interesting because it's going to impact the very question, the very activity of asking people. It affects me as a journalist or as a leader or as whoever, and I think that makes this quite interesting and the very scale of the project. It's not like having 1 or 2 people going out and asking, and then asking them how did it feel to be asking, but you will actually know from several hundred people. You will know how they approach the whole thing. So it very much makes it leadership, which is in our books anyway, and it's quite fascinating. Well, that's all great, fantastic, of course, but then let's come to the question. You will have a fair number of sharp NMP minds joining you in Odense, and you, having been there, and some of your colleagues as well, you know some of that feeling of being involved, and you in the first time, it's the first session, and people will be asked almost impossible things to come up with. You have 3 days, you have 2.5 days to come up with some ideas for this. What do you think this having the NMP people there, or group of participants who are all sharp and experienced leaders themselves from different walks in news media houses, what do you hope they can bring to your team of leading this project, or to understanding? What's your thinking now? You still have a couple of months to go, so no worries. But right now, and since you also volunteered this project to us, which we are very grateful for, of course, because it's so timely, what would you hope for?
Yeah, I hope that I hope they'll be able to push the boundaries for the project, and give us some insights in where can we take this, and maybe some crazy thoughts about how can we product develop on the back of this, but also into the questions we are asking or should be asking, because we've done this. We're trying to take an outside-in perspective on the project as a whole, but it is still only us internally that have created the questionnaire, and we might be limited by our way of thinking. So getting this group of highly skilled people to kind of give their to poke a bit about the structure and the project as a whole, I'm very hopeful that it will just elaborate it to new heights. You can never have too many bright people giving you feedback on your project.
Very, very good. That's a tall order, Jeppe. I hope that
I trust you.
The NMP delegates who already have signed are going to Odense. I hope they feel challenged. I know they will, obviously. And if you are anybody out there, if you feel like, hey, this sounds too good to be true, I actually need to be involved in this because you have something like this coming up or whatever. Just let us know. And we'll go there. But the second question then, what's in it for the NMPs? What's in it for the people coming and helping you out for 2.5 days, other than having great company with great people, of course, both you and your colleagues and so on. But how do you see this? What does it bring, do you think, to if you as a participant earlier in NMP would have been asked to help a Finnish company or a Swedish or Norwegian news media outfit to help them do something like this in the first session, what do you think could be in it for the person, him or herself?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's you get a great network. It's a very good group of people because everybody is in the industry, but it's still there are different things happening in each other country. So there will be some differences there, but a very good network. But then in saying that, I also think you'll be challenged to see the industry from different angles and from not just my experience is that in the media industry we can be a bit like it. This is the media industry. This is special. And to be frank, no, it's not. It's an industry like everybody else, and you can take a lot of learnings from other industries and theories, and if you apply those lenses to look at your business with a different set of eyes, you'll see so many other nuances that are right in front of you and opportunities that are right in front of you. Like doing this interview or this reader meeting for us, that's not rocket science. We could have thought about that 20 years ago, but we just didn't because we didn't have that different lens to kind of put down over our own work. And I think NMP really excels in broadening the horizon and look when you look at both your own company and the industry as a whole. I wish I could go to all four sessions again this year.
Nothing stopping you there yet. Anyway, no, thanks very much for the nice words. Just to finish off, this sounds great and exciting, and the rest will just be created. I'm quite sure there. But just to tie it all together, the workshop in Odense will be coached by Ralph Blomqvist, who is well known to many NMPs from before, and to many people in the industry, and working out of the main company, and who actually wrote one of the books of the classics of when it comes to customer relationship insight and management and understanding, and is now also very vocal, how should I say, challenger of mainstream thinking of customer, of the sort of far too stable view of customer as target groups view that sometimes stifles our development in the companies. His colleague as a coach will be Henrik Blomgren, assistant professor of KTH in Stockholm, who has written books on how online shapes customer insight, customer experience, and so on. But both of these gentlemen will do the job of throwing curve balls at the participants, and when they work on the assignments, And of course, there will be other assignments that bring these things back home. So it's not like everybody will work exclusively on this for 3 days, but there will be a lot. We will use it to the maximum. If you have already joined NMP, we say see you in Odense. If you haven't, you can find information on the website, https:/nordicmediaprogram.se. Have a look and get talking to us if you feel like this is something to join. The registration will be open for a good part of more than a month still from now. So there will be good time for you to join if you feel like it. See you in Odense. Thank you, Jeppe.
Thank you. Bye.